Okay, now hit the mouse to hit. Right, let me.
Yep, only unlucky.
What?
I can't log in.
Still? How exciting. Yeah, lots of appointments and reports.
Either we're trying to murder deer or we have to raise hell.
That's what I was. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Well, they're all together. They're all coming off at the same time. So they all dropped off at the same time. And they all
Well, they usually don't show up to talk to us.
they want to run this.
I'm okay with that. I like it.
You're in. I just changed the password so I have to look at it tomorrow. Okay, if it gives you problems,
Your name is still the same.
that's good.
I hope so. You didn't change my name too, did you?
Okay, so if it doesn't work, then sure, we're already done. In case it doesn't work.
Something in there bugging a nerve. Oh, infections.
That was a rough one.
The toothache's worse than the worst. For me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it goes right to your head.
Lady happened in New York. Finished camping, and she left in a minivan with 8 children. And the husband
I think they're all
picked up
good.
truck with their dogs. And the lady on the way stopped at a convenience store for pain medication. I guess she had a toothache. And they didn't have a pain medication. And then all of her. So she had a water. Yeah.
Probably not.
I have nowhere to hide. Just
All right, it's officially 6 o'clock, and I will call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Lynn, will you please do roll call, please?
Madam Mayor Jacqueline Wells,
Here.
Vice Mayor Darrell Garner,
Here.
Councilmember Derek Elliott,
Here.
Councilmember Tanya Lumen,
Here.
Councilmember Terry Pattison,
Here.
Councilmember Steve Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Bruce Seelow.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to the approval of the agenda. Councilwoman Lumen.
I move to approve the January 20th, 2026 regular city council agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the January 20th, 26 regular city council agenda as presented. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to the approval of the consent agenda. Councilmember Sanger.
I move to approve the city consent agenda for January 20th, 2026 as presented. Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the city council consent agenda of January 20th, 2026 as presented. Any discussion? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Can we remove item C, accounts payable? I have I did business with the city and got paid on this period.
Conflict.
Do you want to make a friendly amendment to that original motion?
Me? I don't know, can I? Since it's a conflict for me.
I'll take his motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the second, okay.
Okay, we're good.
Lynn, when you're ready, tell us when to refresh, please. Any further discussion while we're waiting?
You said accounts payable, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Sanger, second.
First.
Oh, first.
Bruce was second, yeah.
Sorry.
Way to complicate things.
I know. Smooth process. Did I abstain just from the whole agenda? I think so.
Say yes.
I don't. Next time, now that I know the process, I'll make sure to mention. So it's just before it comes up. I wasn't sure if it'd be this one or the.
Okay, so it is under new business, it's F. If you guys refresh, so I moved it and then I also changed the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. And when you're ready, Lynn, open online voting, please.
motion didn't say. Okay, so the motion, I don't know if it's saved or not, because it didn't save on my end, so I just put the motion back in again. So, it has amended. Moving. C2.
Put it on there.
Okay. So online voting is open. What motion do you guys have? As amended with motion?
Yep,
It's gone. It's out of there.
Is there?
That's gone.
you're good.
Oh, okay. Vice Mayor, I don't have anything.
Oh, it didn't pop up on mine. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, hold
Oh,
on
sorry,
one
Lynn.
moment. All right, online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 nay. The 1 nay was Councilmember Elliott.
All right, moving down to citizens' participation. This is a time set by Resolution Number 2C 1996 for a time for public comment. It sets a time limit for 5 minutes under the agenda item citizens' participation with the provision that 5-minute time limit may be increased at the request of a member of the public or any council member subject to the council vote. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on something not on the agenda? Welcome and state your name for the record and
Hi, oh,
and sign in, yes.
Mike Lujan, Honorable Mayor and worthy council, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It might be 6 minutes, but I'm going to hurry. So,
Okay.
I see search and rescue people in the audience. I'm not here for that. I see some St. Christopher's Highway people here. I'm not here for that. Also, Police Commission, a little bit for that. But every year I try to give an appraisal of my community, how it has impacted my business and how it's touched my heart and the blessings that I've given. The start of the year is for Veterans Day, and if anybody knows me, knows that how much I support the veterans and law enforcement, and it's a big part of who I am and as a vet. We offer our annual Veterans Day dinner. We fed over 150 people, veterans, their families, and anybody that wanted to come participate. The premise of that, we even had our own representative, Ms. Pam Thayer, led us in the pledge. We have several guest speakers. Sheriff Jerry Colson was in the audience. Very nice, and we've had police officers in the past honor us with that. We had the honor guard from the Wyoming Department of Corrections present the colors. This flag was presented to me from Senator Dr. John Barrasso that flew in Iraq. The flag flew over our capital and also in Cheyenne, and I now keep it in my restaurant, and we symbolically present that every year with the assistance of the Chief Robinson and his Rawlins Fire Department Honor Guard. So we thank you for that opportunity to really showcase something that's very important to us and for our veterans. So that started off our year in November, which led us right into Thanksgiving. And if anybody knows that story, so for 27 years we've been offering this, our Thanksgiving, and it's just something that is truly really touches your heart. And we had 47 volunteers from this community that helped us make that happen on Thanksgiving Day. We had deliveries throughout the community in Sinclair. our very own Lou, I saw you here, and his family. One of the bright spots that we do, it's all important, but we deliver up to the Rawlins Rehab. You know, I always call it Park Manor because that's old school for me, but we go up there and we take that, and Lou and his family took that food up there to those people. We had Officer Hallisey and several community people that helped deliver. We cooked 105 turkeys this year, guys. And that's a lot of turkeys. And in this community, we fed 1,300 people, and how blessed we are just to be part of that. The purpose of why I'm here is not just because what it means symbolically, but how it really just has touched my heart. And you know, of course, a year ago we lost my brother-in-law on Thanksgiving. So it was very important that we maintained and tried to do something special, and we carried on. And the community support throughout the year has helped us do that. We go right into Christmas, and it's a big deal. There's a lot of toy drives, and we've been doing this 27 years. And even when the restaurant burned down in 2012, we were still able to do Thanksgiving and still able to do Christmas. And this year, we gave toys to 347 kids. And again, that's only because of the support that this community gives my restaurant, that we can give back. And we have our first responders that give out those toys on Christmas Eve. Because I really, when I started this, and you might know and remember this, that we wanted it not ever to be a bad day when a cop shows up at your door. So when those first responders go and knock on the kids' door and they present them with a bicycle, it's something. And that the Hoopers have helped us for 15 of those years, and we have so many people. And once again, our very own Chief Robinson and his family were so imperative on making that happen for my business and for my community. And it's something that it's so special. So 2 stories real quick. We have the Honor Society, we have football players, we have teachers and doctors and anybody that wants to come participate, even our St. Christopher Highway people, they come and help out and wrap presents, and everybody tries to get 3 or 4 gifts. And we have this set up that whenever they come and they get the bicycles, and we're able to give out 45 bicycles, and it's, I don't even know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought. So, but sometimes a squirrel goes by and I get confused, right? So, but we have people that come and help wrap. That's where I was going. So we had a young man that was there, and he was probably 20, 21, and I got his name, and thanks for coming. And what brought you here? Why you here? You know, you just wanted to help out. Thank you. And I try to feed everybody that comes. And he said, you know, and it happened again this year. He said, for the first 7 years of my life, you guys are bringing my family toys. And he wanted to give that back. And that was the coolest feeling that we could ever have. And the second story is kind of a funny story. So on our deliveries on Thanksgiving, we have a delivery team. We have it geared to everybody. And my sister came from Denver, the one who just beat cancer. She for 6 years. I said, whatever you do, she lives in Denver, do not let her do deliveries. She was gone for an hour and 20 minutes trying to make a delivery to Kathy Gardens, because they had the construction, they couldn't get in. So we had to send a rescue team out to get her, right? So one of our deliveries was Chief, where you at? Back there. So Chief, Rawlins Police Chief was one of our delivery people. And whenever I've introduced the Chief to some of my friends, he's, it's just Mike. And if you know Chief, that's how it is. It's never Chief Ward's. It's just Mike. So he went to a house, because we do the Meals on Wheels for the Kathy Gardens in the Senior Center. And he went to the house of an elderly lady, and she was so grateful for the food. And she says, so what's your name? And he said, oh, it's just Mike. you're the young man that has the restaurant. Thank you for doing this. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for supporting us. City Council, God bless you, and God bless this community of ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Will you introduce yourself?
Honorable Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Jim Ainsworth. I have been on the Shooting Range Advisory Board since 2003. Actually, I've been involved with range development of the outdoor shooting board since 1993 when the idea first began. And unfortunately, the time has come for me to step aside and allow some new blood to come onto our advisory board, which has happened in the last several months. And I believe these new guys on here are really going to help us out with this, especially with anything that you can do for that board, for our ranges. It would be very good. But anyway, I am sorry, but I really things have come up in our family with health problems, many health problems. But anyway, I am going to have to resign from the board. And Mayor, if I may approach, I have a letter here that does the same thing.
Thank you for all your years of service. Yes.
It's been fun.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was impromptu, but we have a Jim. We didn't know when he was going to do that. We thought we were going to do it during our presentation.
Oh,
so,
yes, okay.
We have a plaque thanking Jim for all his years of service.
It was a resolution of the City of Rawlins Shooting Range Advisory Board. And so it says that a duly held meeting of the board on January 24th, 2026, the board reluctantly accepted the resignation of Jim Ainsworth and subsequently adopted the following resolution. Whereas Jim Ainsworth began in the year 1995, along with others, was instrumental in obtaining land from the Bureau of Land Management to be used as a shooting range. And whereas in the year 2003, through his efforts, the land was conveyed to the City of Rawlins, who in turn formed a Shooting Ranges Advisory Board, selecting Jim as one of its founding members. And whereas from 2003 to present, Jim Ainsworth has served with dedication and distinction as a member of the Shooting Ranges Advisory Board of Directors of the City of Rawlins and has contributed invaluable knowledge, leadership, and commitment to the success and advancement of the organization. And whereas the Shooting Range Advisory Board of Directors wishes to express its deepest gratitude for Jim Ainsworth's outstanding service, personal integrity, and unyielding dedication to the mission and values of the City of Rawlins. Signed by all the, signed by
It's a bit my partner and Judy Russell is also for the same time. Okay, I can do that. All right. Again, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Is there anybody else that would like to make us sad at public comment? Or happy. We'll take either. Okay, moving down to new business. And the first thing is an ordinance to approve the first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance granting a telecommunications utility franchise and general utility easement to Visionary Communications LLC. Councilmember Singer.
I move to approve the first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance granting a telecommunications utility franchise and general utility easement to Visionary Communications LLC.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance granting telecommunications utility franchise and general utility easement to Visionary Communications LLC. And I believe we have, well, I'll pass it over to you, Attorney Mayberry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. We do have by teams remotely our outside franchise counsel, Brian Grogan, and he will be walking us through the ordinances, the franchise ordinances. And Kyle Farley is also online remotely, and he is a representative from Visionary. And I will pass the mic to Mr. Grogan.
Thank you. Just double checking, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Lovely. Thank you. Madam Mayor, members of the council, again, for the record, my name is Brian Grogan. I'm an attorney representing the city in these communication franchise discussions that have been ongoing at the city. I have a short PowerPoint that will actually address items A and B on your agenda for new ordinances tonight. I believe your staff has got that ready to go.
Yes, sir. Just give me a second. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just pause for a moment. There we go. Perfect. And we can advance to the first slide. So the question this evening is to discuss franchising. It's a rather unique contract that the city considers every so often, and it grants access to companies that need really ubiquitous access throughout all of the city to be able to serve residents and businesses. Right now, today, there are 3 different companies that hold franchises in your community. Lumen, which holds a telecommunications franchise that was granted in 1997. Fatbeam LLC, which was granted another telecommunications franchise in 2014. And then Charter Communications, which holds a cable television franchise. They were formerly known as Bresnan Communications, and their franchise was granted in 2013. Next slide. So the communications companies are regulated in a little bit different way. You may say, well, these companies, almost all of them are really seeking to provide broadband services. That's what you and all of your constituents really want from a service provider these days. And yet all services are regulated slightly differently. If you're trying to provide cable television within the city, you're regulated by the city of Rawlins. If you're trying to provide telecommunications, you're regulated both at the State Public Utilities Commission, in this case the Public Service Commission, and also by the city through a franchise. If you're just trying to provide broadband service and you're not looking to provide either of the first two, frankly, there is no state or local regulatory authority. That authority is reserved for the federal government, and right now there's very limited regulations over a pure broadband player. But in our situation, both of these companies that are before you for new franchises are looking to do a combination of services, which I'll discuss in a moment. So let's go to the next slide. So why do we care about this at all? The issue is that each of these companies want to be in your public rights of way. Public right of way is a defined phrase in both of the contracts that really means every sidewalk, every alley, every street, every easement, frankly, anywhere that they need to go to provide their service. This contract that's before you tonight will allow them to do that. And none of these companies that are before you tonight necessarily have a regulated rate. Now contrast that with something like a gas company or an electric company or a water company. They're limited in what they can charge the consumer based on a rate of return. Communications companies are a little different. They're allowed to compete in the marketplace and provide their services, and their rates are judged by what the marketplace will allow them to charge. So our goal as a city is to try to make sure that we allow that competition and let the best companies win, but also make sure that we have enough compensation to cover our regulatory costs and to cover the value of the city property that's being used by these companies. Next slide. So we're here tonight to consider, at one point it was going to be 3 franchises, but it is 2 franchises. We're very, very close on the Lumen franchise. We've negotiated with them for some period of time. We're waiting for some final approvals from their corporate departments to be able to get their document before you. We hope that will come soon. But the document that is before you for Visionary Communications is nearly identical to what was negotiated with Lumen. The goal here being that we don't want to have disparate contracts for these companies. We want them to have the same set of rules. We allow them to go out, play by the same rules, and then let them go ahead and fight for each customer's business, just as the marketplace is supposed to work. The third document before you is for a company called All West Communications. They're actually obtaining a cable television franchise that looks a lot like the Charter Communications franchise so that we can keep parity between those two companies. Next slide. So how did we get here? We've actually been working on this, and your city attorney has been working on it for some time. So we have gone through and negotiated with Lumen. We've actually dialogued with Visionary for some time and went down the temporary authorization, but just recently found a path forward for them to agree to terms substantially the same as the Lumen contract. We have tried to make inroads with Charter, which also goes by the doing business label of Spectrum Communications. We haven't yet commenced those negotiations, but we are working towards that. Their franchise is actually expired in kind of a carryover position, and we hope to be back to you in the near future with a document for your consideration on that company. And then the next document that you'll be looking at on item B tonight is the All West franchise, which is a cable television franchise that we've been working with that company on for several months, 6 months to be precise. Next slide. So I'm just going to have a couple more slides here. The key terms I'm going to lay out in one slide each. So I know that we're on item for the Visionary contract, but I'm going to start with All West and we will move to Visionary next. All West is a cable television franchise. So the idea of being able to, receive traditional cable television service. But keep in mind that when we grant them this franchise, they're also allowed to provide other services that they're not prohibited from providing, meaning they can provide broadband service just like Charter or Spectrum can provide over their system. So think of this as a cable franchise where they will also be providing broadband services to your residents. It'll be a 10-year deal. It's a 5% franchise fee, meaning that the revenue that they derive from the provision of cable service, and that's only cable service, not broadband service, they will pay the city a 5% franchise fee. That's consistent with what many operators throughout the United States will pay as fair compensation for the use of the right-of-way, and that was not a term that was in much dispute between the city and All West. There was fairly quick agreement on that term. We defined the term gross revenues to be as expansive as the law would allow us to make sure that we would capture that revenue, but we do not receive a franchise fee on the provision of broadband service. That's prohibited both at the federal level and at the state level, so we are not permitted to go after that fee. They're obviously going to there's provisions in the document that require them to comply with your city code as it may be amended in the future. They will provide one local channel. We use the phrase PEG, meaning public, educational, governmental. The city will be able to use a channel, the same that they have with Charter Communications, to provide, for example, cable casting of this meeting. There will also be a PEG fee associated with it, and these numbers were driven right off of what the city required of Charter Communications when it granted Charter a franchise back in 2013, I believe. All West has agreed to provide complimentary cable service, meaning free cable service, to 8 select locations throughout the city. They'll provide necessary insurance coverage should either they or their contractors have any problems in constructing and maintaining the system. Obviously, they will indemnify the city for any problems where we might be sued because of their presence and operations in the city. They will provide a letter of credit. Although it's a small letter of credit, it is a replenishing letter of credit, and it's tied to the provision of liquidated damages, which means If they violated the term of the franchise, the council would have authority to start drawing from that letter of credit until the company brings themselves into compliance. So it's an enforcement tool, knowing that the idea of termination of a contract, which would eliminate service in the city, is not a very viable enforcement tool at all. On the construction and performance bonds, your city attorney is actually reviewing this issue with the streets department to make sure that we have a permitting process in place that will contemplate the necessary bonds so that if we have substantial disruption to your right-of-way, we have adequate protections to be able to receive compensation should the company or its contractors fail to repair properly. And then finally, strong customer service standards. The hope here is that with this much competition in the city will not be really required to care if we should need customer service standards. Next slide. Actually, maybe what we could do is pause and are there any questions on this All West set of terms, and then I can go through the visionary communications terms.
Doesn't look like it.
Very good. I'll move on to the next slide, near the final slide, mercifully for you. So we are on to the visionary franchise. Again, this will be nearly a carbon copy of what we had also hoped to present you for Lumen. That will be coming at a future council meeting, though, so that they will be nearly identical. These offer a 20-year term, and you may ask why the difference in franchise terms. We simply matched the term of years to what the city had previously granted to similarly situated providers. So Fatbeam and Lumen had enjoyed longer-term franchises than what Charter had been granted, and we matched the terms to make sure that if it was a telecom franchise, they would get the longer franchise term. Same 5% franchise fee on gross revenues, and in the visionary franchise, there's a separate exhibit to define telecom services. Just like the All West franchise, this does not cover the provision of broadband service. Visionary will be able to provide broadband under this contract, but they're not required to pay a fee on that, and that again is a provision that's covered in your state law and in federal law. We have pretty strong enforcement provisions in this contract. Should Visionary in some way fail to perform, that is not anticipated, but contract, of course, has to contemplate those possibilities. Obviously, compliance with your city code as it exists today or may be amended in the future. Customer service provisions, although not as aggressive as what is in the All West franchise, and that's simply because the FCC has more aggressive cable service obligations than they do on the telecom side. Same insurance obligation of $2 million, a strong indemnification provision for the same rationale as previously mentioned, and then construction and performance bonds again will be addressed through the efforts of what the city attorney and the streets department are working on, and they'll be handled through the permitting process. Just to comment about that, obviously a performance bond will be higher for a company that's seeking to potentially disrupt a larger portion of the city's rights of way, as opposed to a company that maybe only is taking on a couple of blocks at a time. There would be a smaller construction bond. So we're trying to create the necessary flexibility so that this doesn't become unduly burdensome for all right-of-way users, but also protects the city in the event there should be an unfortunate accident or situation where the right-of-way needs to be repaired. Next slide. I think this one I probably just covered through my comments, that we are working on that, and I've been working with the city attorney to address that. We hope to have that before the council shortly, and it's simply a matter of just updating and refining our permitting process and requirements. So with that, I will stand for any questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Councilman Elliott?
Is that franchise fee negotiable where we can get a greater percentage, or is that the top we can get is 5%?
It's there is a 5% cap under federal law.
Any other questions? Vice Mayor?
On that 5%, I don't think you'd want it to go greater, because that's just going to get passed on to the customer, which is our citizens. So essentially, we're just taxing them rather with a fee. So just, I don't think we'd want to raise it.
I don't know if that was a question or necessarily a comment, but I'll wait, Mayor, and if you'd like me to respond, I certainly can.
It was just a comment to the other council member.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for your time. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. Are they doing an overbuild of the existing, are they doing an overbuild of the existing cable system?
Correct. So there's I'll try to answer that because we have two different companies at play here, but Visionary is looking to invest and construct its own system. So these are separate, discrete systems. They're not looking to wholesale off of another provider. So they will have their own system. Obviously, newer systems come with much greater fiber, deeper into each community, potentially up to the household itself, which provides greater speeds, faster speeds, greater capacity. So both companies are looking at some rather robust investment to build their systems to be able to meet their service requirements. But with that comes necessary disruption to the right-of-way. And we don't want to be naive here. There will be not only disruption, but added burden to your city staff to go out and address the permitting issues, to make sure that the permits are properly closed, that restoration is done correctly, things are grounded appropriately in accordance with all the necessary construction standards. So with that progress comes burdens and costs, which is in part why we're seeking to try to impose these fees. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a quid pro quo driving the fee versus the effort that the city will put in.
Councilmember Singer.
So we're approving for Visionary Communications, and it's based on Lumen. When we approve that, doesn't it forces Lumen's hand?
The reason that we were able to move forward, yes, sir. Let me give you the short answer. Yes, it does. We would not have presented this to Visionary for their consideration, and we requested an answer as to whether it was acceptable and whether they were in agreement that it should be put on for first reading, and they provided that affirmative answer. We wouldn't have done that, however, if we were not within a comma or two of completion with Lumen on the negotiations. Lumen's just a slightly bigger company, and so a little bit more regulatory approval is necessary before they can green light us putting it forward for our council's consideration, which is why, unfortunately, we couldn't do them simultaneously.
Any other questions? Councilmember Elliott?
We currently have some issues with our employees with the city. Do you think that the city would be able to handle their needs? And what is Matt's opinion on this?
Go ahead, Matt.
Madam Mayor, Council Member Elliott, I think it's maybe out of the scope of, I guess, what we're talking about as far as this goes, but as far as the agreement on the table. But I have to look into what you're asking.
So there's a shortage of staff employees is what I'm under the impression of. And the gentleman is saying that they would need help from city employees. So do we have enough city employees that would help them with whatever their needs are?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Elliott. Yeah, I think he's just referencing the parks, the public works people that'll have to help when they go to do any kind of these construction things, of which we have enough staff for. It's just their time away from maybe other tasks they could be doing.
Thank you.
Councilmember, I didn't mean to imply that we don't have the ability to handle this, but maybe an analogy could be if we had 5 new multi-tenant apartment buildings going up simultaneously this next construction season. That's a lot of permitting that we would have to cover for all of those developers. we could do it. It just puts a strain on the staff because that's not a normal, cycle that we might see each and every construction season. That's a little bit what we have here is we have now multiple companies seeking to come into the market. So this is something we didn't have to deal with in 23, 24, or 25. Now we'll have more of it in 26.
I had a question. Really? I have a question. Where are these companies based out of, and what's their net worth? Do you know?
I might, council member, we have a representative of Visionary, which is item A that we're discussing. I believe Mr. Farley, who's on the line, might be better able to speak to his company's qualifications. So if it's all right, I'll defer to him for that answer.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Kyle Farley, for the record. I'm the Director of Regulatory Affairs for Visionary. To address your question, Visionary is a Wyoming-based company out of Gillette, Wyoming. We operate across 3 territories, Wyoming, Colorado, and Montana, Wyoming being our primary market. We've been in operation for well over 30 years and have certainly seen ourselves as a leader of the expansion of the internet and telecommunication services in Wyoming. We're proud to be a Wyoming company, and I can just, in terms of answering your question on the net worth, I'm not quite sure what our net worth of the company would be. But I can tell you from Visionary's perspective, the Rawlins market is one that we constantly have been talking about and are very excited to enter and very much looking forward to being a provider in this community. So hopefully that helps address some of who we are as a company and why we're excited for this opportunity to come to the community of Rawlins.
Thank you. And All West would like to comment as well.
Mayor, council, members of the community, my name is Marty Crollo. I do strategic partnerships and government relations for All West Communications. Our company goes back to 1916, where we started over on the western side of Wyoming and the eastern side of Utah. And we currently serve Evanston, Green River, Rock Springs, Kemmer, Granger. We're getting ready to build Opal. And quite frankly, we feel that Rawlins fits our communities and the way we do business to a T. We really feel like the folks of Carbon County really match the Sweetwater Uinta very nicely. So we're very comfortable coming in here. We also serve in the Wasatch back, Camas, that area back there, and we are currently expanding heavily in the Wasatch Front. We are expanding into southern parts of Boise. So we're also in a large expansion. Everything we do now is fiber optics. Fiber, just so you know, the nice thing about fiber is once you put it in the ground, it's electronics that just dictate what its capacity is. It's not the fiber itself. So it will be disruptive in the initial, and it's 100% disruptive. Groban is accurate in that. Where there is underground work to be done, it's 100% whether a customer chooses to take that service or not, because we have to lay the conduit and put the fiber in the ground. Now, it's not disruptive to the house unless somebody chooses to do that. And it's really important to understand that customers will now have choice of who they want and how they want to get service from. We are a traditional cable company, so we'll have cable TV services. Our broadbands will be in the 2 gig on up from there. We also are a traditional telephone company, so we can offer telephone services just like Lumen can do for our business customers or residential. So we are a full service company. The good news on the permitting side, and that is something to absolutely want to be aware of, because in the underground areas, there is a need to have a relationship between the construction company and your staff to make sure that the customers, the community is served best. And what I'll say on that is look around your community. You have the benefit of having a significant part of your community that's overhead. It's the relatively new areas that are underground, and in the overall footprint of the community, it's a smaller portion than the overhead. So the overhead's really quite easy. There's almost no oversight. It's just a relationship with the power company doing that. So that helps with an understanding of where your staff is going to be. But it's intense and it's aggressive, and it's when it's done though, what I say is that when a company comes to a community and they ask about what a community has to offer, when they ask about broadband, they don't say, do you have lumen dial-up? And they don't ask if you have coax internet. They ask if you have fiber. And so you have, coming into Rawlins, an opportunity for two competing Wyoming companies. Now, granted, ours is out of Utah, but those of us who are on this side consider ourselves Wyoming. I'm a Green River kid, fourth generation Wyoming, so this is my neck of the woods. You are getting the best product that's going to help your community be able to compete with an investment for the next year and a half of some staff time. And then once it's done, then it's just a matter of who maintains best and takes care of their customers best. And that's who will dictate who really is successful, is who takes care of their customers better than the other, because quite frankly, the costs are not going to be that much different.
Thank you. All right.
Just a follow-up on that. How much research and development goes in back out of your revenue into your product and service? Is it yearly? Is it bi-yearly? Is it, like, how do you, with technology growing so fast?
Oh, we watch it every day. Generally speaking, so the question is, how often is a technology being monitored and maintained? The lifespan of telecom equipment at this time is about 3 years. So once you put not so much what's in the ground, but the electronics that run it, it's about a 3 to 5 year time, and then you're swapping all of that equipment out. So there's been tremendous amounts of growth over the last 5 to 7 years, where 3 years ago it was 1 gig was kind of the standard, and now it's 10 gig technology. Now you may not want 10 gig, but that's what we'll put in, is what's called 10G. I'm sure that's what Visionary is looking at. But you also have the capacity to go significantly higher if somebody is really in needs of much larger pieces of bandwidth. But as far as a budget goes, I will tell you that we have, All West has 23 IT staff that are continually monitoring, upgrading, maintaining. So it's not just you put it in and you walk away. It's always being upgraded and maintained.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Lumen.
My question is, why is Visionary 20 years and All West 10? Other than that's just the way we did it. Is there any other explanation as to why there's a difference between how long these are?
I can answer that. It's tradition. So cable TV, going back to 1956 when my grandpa started Sweetwater Cable in Rock Springs, was based on 10 years because it's a vibrant technology. Nobody really knew where it was going, and it's been vibrant since 1956. You look at telephone, it was pretty standard. You put in plain old telephone POTS lines, and it didn't change. It was like a gas line. It was like an electrical line. It just did one thing. So it's tradition. And on the cable franchising, I don't disagree with that. And quite frankly, at some point, we'll look to go to a telecom add-on to ours as well. Because we don't know what video is going to look like in 10 years. But we do know that once we put fiber in the ground, we're committed to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more question from the audience, and then we.
Yeah,
some people know me, but I worked the cable system here for 25 years. Teleprompter, Group W, TCI Growth, AT&T Broadband. I negotiated on the team with the city on the 2 previous franchises, but the last one was Breshnan. The 5%, that's normal, if you're worried about that. When it was TCI, technology changed so fast, it was called, things changed instantly. With this proposal, you'll have a choice of more than one. It's just like the new streaming services that you have. You'll be able to get each one. The thing you have to watch out for is the pricing. That's your main thing, is everything's going to be in tiers. If you want this, you have to pay more. You have to pay faster. It's going to cost you more. The reason I talked about an overbuild is that if they're going to go in and build their own system, on the power poles, you have to maintain spacing. That means that you're going to have to find either poles on both sides of the alleys to do an overbuild, extensions out on your, hanging out over the alleys and that. You need to look at your constructions. It's going to cause delays. It's going to, they're going to bore streets, but then your utilities are going to be in your way. So cost by the staff's time is going to cost you more money. So just be aware of certain things there. It's great that you're going to have a choice, but from here I know what I'm talking about. And your franchises, they're pretty well standard throughout. They don't change much, but be aware of the hidden costs that it's going to cost the city. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Lynn, when you're ready, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to another ordinance to approve first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance for the city of Rawlins, Wyoming, granting a franchise agreement to All West in operation of a cable system. Councilmember Sanger.
I move to approve the first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance of the city of Rawlins, Wyoming, granting a franchise to All West Wyoming, Inc. for the operation of a cable system.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance of City of Rawlins, Wyoming, granting a franchise to All West Wyoming, Inc. for the operation of a cable system. Any discussion?
Other than the time difference, these are essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to the Rawlins DDA amended bylaws. Do I hear a motion? Council or Vice Mayor Garner.
I move to approve the amended bylaws of the Rawlins Downtown Development Authority as presented, specifically the renaming of Article 4, Appointment and Qualification, Section 1, Board Terms, Position Number 2 to be added to Position Number 3, and amended to read, shall be appointed to serve initially until December 31st, 2025, and then every 4 years thereafter. These two positions will be appointed by the City Council. The approval of these bylaws will also revert the organization's name to its original name of Rawlins Downtown Development Authority.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to amend the bylaws for the Rawlins DDA. Any discussion? I do have one question, Pam. It says initially until December 31st, 2025. Is that supposed to be 26?
No, Madam, excuse me, Madam Mayor, just to keep everything, the two 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to keep it rolling in the correct order
Got it.
from the original ordinance in 1991.
Councilwoman Lumen.
Can you give us a short reasoning as to why the name change, why the...
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Councilman Lumen. Again, excuse me, as I presented back to City Council in April of 2025, I'm making some updated changes as we evolve as a downtown, as an organization, to have more flexibility and have sustainable funding, that we are just, the Main Street was a methodology, it was a program. We are going back to the original bylaws as a state statute run. And as talking, the city ordinance talks as a downtown development state statute with those bylaws not mentioning any methodology or programs, just doing cleanup. And again, we talked about it at our November meeting. So again, if you look at the original bylaws in 1991 up until 2006, it was always just a downtown development authority per state statute, and not putting a program name in or a methodology, because those can always change, keeping it closer to statute and to our city ordinance.
So when the decision was made to not be a part of the Main Street program, was that in violation of your?
No, because it really was just, it's not a state statute. I don't want to speak for legal counsel, but really they probably should have never been put in, because it's a program and we're a state statute driven organization.
Any other discussion? All right, Liam, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 nay. The 1 nay was Councilmember Lumen.
All right, moving down to approving some DD8 board appointments. And because we had so many applicants, which is amazing and wonderful, we are going to vote by ballot tonight. But I would like to invite any of the applicants that are here. Do you mind raising your hand if you're an applicant? And would like to come and just address why you'd like to be on the board. I think that would be wonderful. And did you have anything to add before we get started, Pam?
I do, Madam Mayor and Council. I also wanted to let, because we have 4 positions open and 6 wonderful people that have applied, that we do have a new public spaces committee, and I will leave this for the council and for the public. It's really focusing on downtown, bright and beautiful, like the splash pad and banners and just public spaces that everybody enjoys. And so we do have a new public spaces committee that will be starting to meet on March 23rd and meet monthly. So there is that opportunity to volunteer. So if you're not appointed, we do have 2 committees, the Thrive Committee and Public Spaces. Thrive is downtown merchants and events. So we just wanted to let them know that just because you may not make it on the board, we still want you to hang out with us. So I do have these flyers ready for that also.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
We will start with Damian Sesko, since he is right here on top.
Yeah, my name's Damian Sesko. I've been participating with DDA for close to 15 years at this point. I run the Mars Committee, which has now turned into the Thrive Committee. Just big on trying to help the downtown. So attend most of the meetings, do most of the work already. Just figured I could help a little bit more on the board. So
Wonderful. And he is an in-district candidate.
yes, I do run the Rawlins Music Academy, which is within the district of the downtown. So
Okay, thank you, Damian. Is Christy Hall available? Yes, she is. Come on up, Christy.
There, I am Christy Hall. My husband Don and I own Mimi's at the Blake and Great Divide Outdoors. It would be a great honor to help with the DDA, anything we can do to help grow downtown and help downtown to continue to thrive. We're very honored to be here, and yeah, was it.
Thank you, Christy. And she's also an in-district candidate. And we need 3, correct, Steve?
Heidi would be the other one because she's in district as well.
Yeah, Heidi is.
And she's it would be a reappointment
Yeah.
of her particular position she has now.
Yep, okay. And then Jennifer Daniels. Is she here? Okay. Kara George. Come on up, Kara.
Hello, thank you. I'm Kara George. I'm a relatively new resident here to Rawlins. This summer will be our 4th year here, coming from the West Coast. I've been a business owner for about a decade now, and as an artist and a graphic designer, and also other creative community-driven solutions. I read a statement recently that said, creativity without structure is chaos, but structure without creativity is sterile. So that's kind of a mantra for my business and my mode of operation, and I believe that that's my strength that I could bring to the board, combining creativity and innovative thinking out of the box and creative problem solving. And so that's what drove me to apply to be on the board.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kara, and welcome to Rawlins.
Thank you.
And Kara would be an out-of-district candidate. And then Annette James, I know you're hiding back there. Hi, Annette.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. My name's Annette James, and it's just my joy and my pleasure to help where or when, how I can. I believe in helping our downtown, volunteering downtown, and enhancing the beauty of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. And Annette is also an out-of-district candidate. All right, so Lynn, will you distribute the ballots, please? Thank you. And make sure that you guys choose 3 in-district candidates.
Is it 3 or 2? Because this means at least 2 of tonight's 4 appointments must be in district.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 2.
Thank you.
Christine Hall and Annette. Those were the ones that spoke. Thanks for having the names printed out. It's helpful for my poor brain. Next time.
We don't have 7.
And as Pam stated, if our applicants that are not chosen tonight, please consider participating in one of the other opportunities that the DDA offers. And for anyone, we also have applications available for the Board of Adjustments, the Rochelle Ranch Golf Course Advisory, Urban Systems, Parks and Recreation Advisory, including a middle and high school position. All right, Lynn.
So the four are Damian Cisco, Kara George, Christy Hall, and Heidi Larson.
All right.
Those
Thank
are
you
your four.
guys for participating and applying for the positions, and welcome to the DDA board. And Myra has a gift for you.
Oh.
And she will distribute them. It's a book on parliamentary procedure, and I'm sure you'll love that.
Thank you.
Especially for reading.
All right, moving down to a resolution authorizing submission of an unmet housing grant to the State Loan and Investment Board for attainable workforce apartments at the Ferguson Building. Councilmember Patterson.
Move to approve the resolution authorizing submission of an unmet housing grant to the State Loan and Investment Board for attainable workforce apartments at the Ferguson Building in the amount up to $3,500,000.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve of the resolution authorizing submission of an unmet housing grant to the State Loan and Investment Board for attainable workforce apartment at the Ferguson Building. And I will invite Director Pam Thayer back up.
Madam Mayor and Honorable Council, super excited. I think everybody knows we own the Ferguson, have been working on it, and this opportunity came about, and I worked with Community Development Director Lou and Interim City Manager Matt Hall to find out the best fit, and so we are submitting and addressing the documented unmet housing need for the City of Rawlins by creating attainable ADA access workforce housing for essential employees, including teachers, healthcare workers, correctional staff in the community, where approximately 70% of our housing stock consists of single-family housing. And where I'm getting that document is we have been very fortunate to receive a DEQ feasibility study on the Ferguson that just came back, and this actually, again, opening up doors, getting things, laying groundwork. If this document would not have been done, we would have not been ready to apply for this kind of grant. We're hoping that we get the full amount. We may not. If we don't get the full amount, then we will regroup as a board and bring to you, the council. We do have quite a bit of money that has been saved for some development projects and assets and buildings like the Rainbow Teton, and to leverage for a loan. So this would, on the debt ratio, this would really help create the 12 apartments, 7 one-bedroom, 1 bath, and 5 two-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath. And again, it's great to have this document because there is a lot of background that really makes this grant easier to write really quickly. But the documentation on our unmet housing needs in this is available, of course, to the city, to the county. There's great information, and so it allowed us. So again, really looking at adaptive reuse of that building, getting it back on the tax rolls, all that good stuff. So we would love your support in the submission of this grant. It's due next Friday. And I do have to say that all city staff, legal, the city attorney, Lou, finance, we're all working together as a team to complete that application. It takes a team. So exciting. Also, I have to say is we'll find out next week if we get the $500,000 grant for the other. So we have lots, like I said, lots going on in the downtown.
Great. Councilwoman Lemon?
Always loved the idea of more housing. But I thought in the past, when we had discussed doing housing above the businesses in downtown Rawlins, there was a problem of the expense of the fire alarm systems. Did something change in the law? Did something, or is that it's more reasonable now? Or is that what the grants helps with?
Yes and no. I think that part of the debt ratio and numbers we've run, I mean, that there will be a fire suppression system in this building, and so that is a hindrance on a lot of development in the upstairs. But because of this amount, or if we can leverage, they give us $1 million, then we can leverage the other 2.5. So to answer your question, yes and no. That has not changed, but because of this opportunity for this grant, it'll cover that gap in the financing.
Okay.
Great question.
Any other question? Councilmember Elliott?
Do you have an estimate of what you would be renting the apartments for the cost? And also, would any of that money come back to the city?
So that money would come back to the DDA to do leverage that money for additional projects, and or, as I discussed with some of the council and some other people, that could offset some of the money that you would give to us at doing our economic development. So it would come back. We own the building, but we, the entity of the city, ultimately, if the DDA would ever get dissolved, then the city would own the building.
And for the rent?
So we're still running the numbers. I wish I would have brought that. I apologize. I can get that for you, Councilman Elliott, but we ran the numbers, and it was competitive to what's out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank. Councilman Singer, I hate to put you on the spot. I should have brought my other notebook.
Right off the top of my head, no. Because we were doing both. We were doing condos, we were doing apartments.
And originally we had talked about doing condos and selling those, but there was too much gap in the financing. It just didn't have enough revenue generating to meet the expense costs.
Okay.
But I will get those for you.
I can tell you the total was 12,932, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because it turned out to be 12,32. With
Does
a
that include
carryover.
the utilities?
No, it was just the rent itself, but it created a clear profit margin of about $2,100 a month for all of them. So
I will get those for you. We have them. We've penciled everything out and repenciled it from the condos to apartments to a hotel. I mean, we've gone.
That could vastly change because, depending on where we're at rent-wise and whenever this gets
The market
completed.
demand, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down
Thank you.
to accounts payable. Councilmember Singer.
I move to approve accounts payable of December 24th, 2025 through January 9th, 2026 in the amount of $163,002.84.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve accounts payable for December 24th, 2025 through January 9th, 2026 in the amount of $163,000.02. $163,000 $2.84. All right, any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 abstain. The 1 abstain is Vice Mayor Gardner. Councilmember Elliott was a nay, and the others were all yeas.
All right, moving down to board appointments and presentations and the Community Builder Award for January 2026. I'll invite the members of the City of Rawlins Volunteer Committee up.
I will invite the winners to join us. The Community Builder Award is a monthly award the city presents to local individuals, businesses, and organizations for their volunteer service, sponsorship, promotion of programs and events, outstanding service in the interest of the city, and for other contributions significant to Rawlins' quality of life.
Honorable Council, other city employees, and interested citizens. We need some frivolity in here.
And then I'll put in my 2 cents worth. So I have not been a lifelong resident of Rawlins. My parents wanted a second child, so I was conceived. Dad worked passenger service for the Union Pacific Railroad and could not guarantee that he would be there by my mother's side when I was born. And Mother said, "That's fine. Take me to my home in Fairbury, Nebraska, and I will have this child there." So that is where I was born. 3 weeks later, Dad picked us up and brought us back to Rawlins, which I have called home since. But I am not a lifelong resident. After high school, Uncle Sam notified me that I was drafted into the U.S. Army. So I waltzed upstairs in this very building up to Ruby Wagner's desk and told her that I was not going to be drafted. She thought that meant that I was going to go to Canada, but I told her, no, I'm going to enlist. I found out later that that didn't mean I would not be going to Vietnam. Upon release from Nam, I was stationed in Fort McClellan, Alabama. It was about 6 months later that I was introduced to my new boss there, and I outranked her by 2 grades. Military duties aside, we dated, and I eventually told her that I would like to marry her, but she would have to move to Rawlins, Wyoming. She agreed, and the 2 of us have called Rawlins home since September of 1970. So I owned David Standard up on the corner of 5th and Spruce during the energy crunch of the early 70s, and for months was the only gas station open 24 hours a day in Carbon County, except for Gay Johnson's out on the west end. It was also during this time that I started my community service by joining the Carbon County Conservation Club, eventually serving as president for 3 years. During this time, I was visited by Ray Ortiz, a salesman for the local Napa Auto Parts store, and asked if he would be interested in joining, and he asked if I would be interested in joining the Rawlins Lions Club. Thinking this would be good for business, I joined. Now remember that. In July of 1976, my family decided that the railroad would provide a more secure life than self-employment. So I followed my father's advice, sold the gas station, and joined the Union Pacific. Son 1 was now old enough to play, there it is, Pee Wee baseball. So I volunteered as a coach. Well, then guess what? Next came Little League, and then when the summers were done, next came football, and so I volunteered, I raised my hands for all of that stuff. Serving others was found to be enjoyable for me, and so I went through the chairs at the Rawlins Lions Club, and eventually started going through the chairs at the state level, eventually ending up as a district governor for the eastern part of the state. Then also was a year as the chairman of the Governor's Council. I was the president of the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Bank, and a 2-year term as president of the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Institute Foundation. I also held various jobs for Lions on the international level. 2008 brought the wonderful, years of retirement. After having some surgeries taken care of, the local Lions Club needed some help with membership, so I served 4 more years as secretary of the club, and then did another term as the president. The Episcopal Church needed needed help with the boiler at Craft Hall over here. So that took 2 years to get the neglect of that problem taken care of. And now I'll pass it.
Not quite. Okay, I started work at the city in the summer of 1971 as the assistant manager of the swimming pool in Washington Park. Which was closed after that year due to lack of funding to repair the boiler. And then I went to work across the alley from where you sit at what was then Sears, Roebuck and Company. And that Christmas, I was informed by my boss, Carrie Thayer, that since I was short, fat, and
the newest kid on the block, I could put on the Santa suit and enjoy the visits from the little kiddos that came into the store. I decided I needed something to do other than work. So since our son was going through school, I volunteered to assist in the children's activities and just in general become the room mother who was there all the time. I've also served as an election judge and held numerous positions at St. Thomas Church. And even though I did retire January 24th of last year, I still do part-time work for the city. I have in the past taught water aerobics, worked at the golf course pro shop, and for some reason I'm still on the other side of that door. That would be municipal court. Your turn.
Now the easy life of retirement has fully looked possible until, due to the retirement of Santa in the Retstadt edition, the city had no replacement for the downtown parade. But thanks to some help with some friends and the then director of the Chamber of Commerce, she called us and said that a Christmas couple was needed for the Christmas parade and that our name had been bantered about. Nikki said, "Wouldn't that be fun to do?" And I said I would do it as long as there was a Mrs. Claus by my side. Well, that was 10 years ago. So that is how Santa's helpers came to be a regular during the holidays in Rawlins. Gigs increased over time, and this last year, the helpers did 18 events and visitations. Ho, ho, ho. We are humbled to have been nominated for the Community Builder Award, and thank you. We plan to continue living in this wonderful town until the good Lord calls, and as for the award, we would like to donate that to the Ribbons of Hope project with the hope that it continues for a long time. Sincerely, Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Thank you guys so much.
This is our sleigh driver. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you, guys. All right. Moving down to a couple of motions, a resignation and promotion of an alternate for the Rawlins Shooting Ranges Advisory Board. Councilmember Patterson.
Want me to do both of them or just one of them?
Do the first one first, yeah.
Move to accept Anthony Zabala resignation from the Rawlins Community Shooting Ranges Advisory Board for a term expiring June 30th, 2027, effective immediately.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to accept Anthony Zabala's resignation from the Rawlins Community Shooting Ranges Advisory Board for a term expiring June 30th, 2027, effective immediately. Any discussion? Then will you open online voting, please?
Okay, online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right. Do we have a second motion? Councilmember Patterson?
Move to promote currently seated alternate member Reese Irving to a full Rawlins Community Shooting Ranges Advisory Board position for a term ending June 30th, 2027, effective immediately, and direct community relations to advertise the vacancy of the alternate position, which has a term until June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to promote currently seated alternate member Reese Irvine to the full Community Shooting Ranges Advisory Board position for a term ending June 30th, 2027. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to the appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission Board, and we have another ballot vote, and we have 3 applications and 2 open positions. And is Janita Colton here? Does she want to talk on why?
She was not able to come tonight.
Okay, and then how about Richard Wilson? Richard, do you want to tell us why you're interested in the Planning and Zoning Board?
Well, I've got 43 years dealing with planning boards. I'm a member of the Wyoming Planning Association for over 10 years. They awarded me a Planning Commissioner of the Year once. So I think I have a few qualifications, but generally, with the churn that we see the city and then on the boards and that, I have knowledge that I can share so that the city doesn't play catch up. Some of the attorneys we've had in the past have not dealt with planning issues, so I kind of help steer them in the direction they need to look so that we don't replicate errors that were done 10 years ago and that. So I just want to continue with my service to the city on the board if that's your wish.
Great. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
And is David Santee here?
Madam Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Santee. I just moved here about a year ago, but in that short time, I have built a business right outside of Southwest Rawlins called Jarhead Ranch. The reason it's called Jarhead Ranch is I was a Marine for 8 years, active duty, infantry, and anti-terrorism. I work hard. I learn a lot of stuff real fast. I have set up a pretty good situation out there, and I want to be more involved with Rawlins City. I feel like I'm part of the city, but I'm right outside city limits. So I've got nothing to gain or lose by doing this. If you have more questions about me, just get with me after all this because there's a lot to my story. But I plan on being here for the rest of my life and being either spread or buried out on my hillside back there. So this is it for me, guys. I came here to live a good life with a good community. Thank you.
Great. Welcome to Rawlins.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Councilmember Sanger.
Clarification. Outside of city limits? Is
I
that,
will
is
need
there
to pull
effect
up
to that?
the ordinances on that and let me look.
When Mr. Santee did come into my office to share his interest in serving, we did look it up, and there are a certain number of members of this board who are allowed to be outside city limits, and we're well within that.
While Panita is doing her research. Oh, go ahead.
So the answer is the Planning and Zoning Commission shall consist of not less than 5 voting members, not more than 7. 5 of the members shall be municipal utility customers, which there is also utilities offered outside of town, so who knows exactly the situation. And then no more than 2 may be qualified electors residing in the unincorporated area within 3 miles of the corporal city limits. This also complies with the state statute. So long as Mr. Santee is within those 3 miles, he is a qualified candidate.
Okay. All right. Lynn, will you distribute the voting ballots, please? And like I mentioned before, if you are not chosen, we have plenty of other opportunities to serve our great city.
Okay. So the two people that will be serving the ticket will be Janina Colton and David Santee.
All right, and then moving down to appointment to the Police Civil Service Commission Board. Councilwoman Lumen.
Move to appoint Chris Branson to the Police Civil Service Commission Board for a term ending January 31st, 2029.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and second to appoint Chris Branson to the Police Civil Service Commission for a term expiring January 31st, 2029. And I do believe he's standing in the back, so I will invite you up if you'd like to say a few words of why you'd like to be on the board, Chris.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get to go after Mr. and Mrs. Claus, but so my name's Chris Branson. I've lived here my whole life. I've raised my family here. I've served from federal, state, and local levels. I retired as a police sergeant in 2021. I kind of regret that because I kind of miss it. I would like to serve on the commission because I have a keen interest in providing professional police services for the city. So.
We are also hiring on the board. Thank you, Chris. All right, any further discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to a reappointment to the Board of Adjustments. Do I hear a motion? Vice Mayor?
I move to reappoint Shauna Roberts to the Board of Adjustments for a term ending January 31st, 2029.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to reappoint Shauna Roberts for a term expiring January 31st, 2026.
Right.
2029, sorry.
Nine. Honorable Mayor and City Council, thank you for the opportunity to come talk to you. I have been in Rawlins for about 14 years now. I've been on the Board of Adjustments for...
Since 2022.
Thank you, 2022. Since 2022. I have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed learning more about how the Board of Adjustments works, working through Title 19 and all of the adjustments that we've made through that. And I would just appreciate another term.
Thank you, Shauna. Any further discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to a reappointment to the Rochelle Ranch Golf Course Advisory Board. Councilmember Sanger.
I move to reappoint Philip Kennedy to the Rochelle Ranch Golf Advisory Board for the term ending December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to reappoint Philip Kennedy to the Rochelle Ranch Golf Course Advisory term for a term ending December 31st, 2028. Is he present? Is Philip here? No. Okay. Any discussion? Then will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, moving down to another reappointment for the Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board. Hear a motion? Councilmember Patterson.
Move to reappoint Zachary Hartshorn to the Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board for a term expiring January 31st, 2031.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to reappoint Zachary Hartshorn to the Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board for a term expiring January 31st, 2031. Man, that's scary. He is not here as well, correct? Okay. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Moving down to another reappointment for the Urban Systems Committee. Councilmember Sanger.
I move to reappoint Sherry Schillinger to the Urban Systems Committee for a term expiring January 31st, 2030.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to reappoint Sherry Schillinger to the Urban Systems Committee for a term expiring January 31st, 2030. And Sherry, would you like to just say a few words?
Honorable Mayor and Council, I've served on the Urban Systems Committee for I think 4 years. I'm currently the chairman of the committee, and I'd just like to be reappointed.
Great, thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right. Thank you for everybody that's applied for one of our many boards, and we really appreciate it. Moving down to reports and information, the Carbon County Economic Development. Yvonne's hiding back there.
Sorry, I'm sick.
Oh no.
Again, I'm sorry. I'm so excited. Okay, Madam Mayor and Council, it's been a long time since you've seen me, about probably a year and a half. A year, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, as a lot of you already know, we had been going through the last year and a half of a restructure of organization. So the way that I'm looking at it is that we are starting totally brand new, and it's been very rewarding, very educational, and also some heartache as well. So our journey kind of started with Wyoming Business Council selecting Carbon County for an assessment that was done to help attract business and site selection, and they had hired a consulting firm that we had worked with for about 6 months. Then after that, I got certified with a BRNE, which is Business Retention and Expansion Certification, last June, and have been going pretty hard and heavy with education from January until my son's death in June. It's been very hard, I must say, the last few months, but I have a new board. 3 of them have tapped out. They were 3 terms, some were 4, so their support for me in staying on was to make sure that the organization kept moving forward. So my first few years, as you know, I'm still kind of relatively new at all this, was to reestablish my reestablish the organization's relationships across the county and with our municipalities. I've done that, and now we are ready to launch. Tomorrow we will be having our very first discussion on we're going through a board training. We have 6 new board members. I think maybe Lynn sent you a copy of our board of directors roster. I have the executive board here with me. Missy Turney is serving as president, Tim Hoffman, vice president, Todd Kennedy, treasurer, and Courtney Carrico is secretary. I'm so excited. They're very active, very supportive, and I really feel that I have ground, like I have direction. I know exactly what I'm going to need to be doing. So just a real quick run through, and I'm going to give Missy the floor here in a minute. I don't want to take a whole lot of time. You haven't heard from me really too, is that there isn't a whole lot going on because we're going through this whole change. But also I have some projects that are going on that are at the stage right now as a non-disclose. 2 out of the 4 projects I am really hopeful, working very closely with Brownfield folks in Cheyenne, Cindy Martinez, and with Ayers Associates, as you are very familiar with both, and have worked pretty closely when Tom was here towards the end of being involved and being invited, which has been really helpful in the collaboration and team effort, as we keep talking about, is Tom really made an effort that economic development be involved with the city projects. And so I hope that will continue. And we now have, which thank you very much, the new appointment with the city representative, Lou Lascano. I think that is going to be very helpful and very beneficial, not only for on the county side, but also on the city side. I think the communication will be much better as well. So with that is moving on. You may be curious, I can disclose the I-80 project. The fueling station at Fort Steele is still on the table, still moving forward. The investor developer is working on permitting. Unfortunately, he did not do that while he was trying to purchase another additional 121 acres out there. And I am talking about the Stuckies across, well, we know it as Stuckies, but the fueling station that was across the street, or across the highway from the Fort Steele West area, where you see that blight area. So then let's see. I guess really that's about it, I think. It seems like I should be going on and on since I haven't seen you in a year. But I'm going to introduce you to Missy. You are all probably very familiar with Wyoming Workforce, but I'm very happy, and especially with my new board and executive board, who've been very, very beneficial to our organization.
I didn't know I was going to speak, but hello, Madam Mayor and Council. I was born in Rawlins, and this is my home, and so I'm super excited to be a part of this board to hopefully help our communities grow. I look forward to working with you all because this is not a one-man show, and we need everybody to come together and try to figure out how we can better our communities. So I'm committed to, trying to work on these relationships and work with this board. They're amazing, and we're all super excited, and we're getting ready to learn so many things and be able to be effective. And so, yeah.
Any questions from the council? Yvonne, so sorry for your loss. And you do have a great board, I agree. So thank you for your presentation. Moving down to the Rochelle, you might as well just stay up here, Tim. The Rochelle Ranch Golf Course Advisory Board update.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor and City Council. Just real quick, because it's been a long night. Numbers I've been given show that our revenues are up almost 20% year over year. I think some of that is due to Sinclair not being open and may not be open again. So sorry for that, but good for us. Course was in great shape. Abe has done a great job. We had a little issue starting the year with some water because some pumps at the river. Those were fixed, and we were back at full strength. And by the end of the year, it was really good. We do have some good tournaments coming up this year, including a senior tournament, which will bring people from out of town. Again, it's a good little economic boom for the city to have these people come here. It's a great course. Use of the course is not just for golf, because we do have high school cross country uses it, which is great, and people get to see a course that may not see it, and probably get some interest in coming back, which we like to see that. There's still some fun runs and those kinds of things that go on out there too. We'll have our usual nonprofit organizations doing some fundraising tournaments this year. Again, they're already on the schedule, so things look really good. Hopefully we can get the restaurant thing figured out and get some a little more consistent there. That'd be great. The gas golf carts have been a great addition. A lot less maintenance this winter. We've already talked about that. They get treated a little bit. They get parked. They don't have to be checked all the time for the batteries and all that stuff. So that's been a real good plus. So hopefully expenses can stay kind of flat and we can just keep moving this revenue up a little bit and we'll have a good year again. So that's what we got.
I have thank you cards for your board. No, it's not
Perfect.
much, but
Okay.
thank you for all
All
you
right.
guys do.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Now for the Shooting Range Advisory Board update.
Honorable Mayor and City Council. I'm Brent Wilkes. I'm the chairman of the board. We've got several of our board members here. We've had a couple people resign this year, obviously. Jim Ainsworth, you've seen that presentation. Mr. Claus was on the board as well. So going through the indoor shooting range, we got the new furnace this year. Last year was kind of a chilly indoor shooting season. Thank you very much for that. Projects in the works. The shooting range curtains are due for some replacement. We've done about all we can to make them last as long as they're going to last. And we need some improved repair or replace lighting. At the outdoor range, it consists of a 300-yard range that's covered, firing line with 10 positions, permanent fixed benches, firing benches at the 1,000-yard range, pistol range, archery, skeet, clays. Individuals and families are actively present every day at these ranges. Improvements in 2025, safety, replated improvements, pistol divider walls, protection, and rubber mats. Future improvements, this was a big one for us, improved access, and entrance road improvements, finished the outdoor range master plan update, 3D walking archery range. There was a grant started for that at one time, we believe. Safety related projects. The range holds several tournaments, involve local, out of town, and out of state shooters. This brings revenue to our town through these events of long-range shooting, NRA action pistol, steel challenge, Great Divide steel match, cowboy action, and the Glock shoot. There was over 400 participants. We have youth programs, the Junior Rifle League, which Jim Ainsworth was a large part of, and it probably started that program. 54 participants. It was designed to teach young shooters safety and marksmanship in a fun, controlled environment. This has been a positive event for our community and a great involvement for our youth for over 30 years. 4-H shooting programs. Reese is big into that. He's got 60 participants last year. Development of additional programming. Hunter safety, we had 39 participants this year. And then the high school rodeo had their high school shootout there, which was 72 participants.
I was just going to say, I'm actually running the hunter safety course this last year and going forward. Took over for Jim.
Thank you. Some other things we got going on. There's classes in firearm safety, concealed carry, held at the ranges in both in-town and out-of-town. Many participants become members. Chris is one of those that puts on the firearm safety training, range officer training. Law enforcement also uses this range for qualifications. It's by 2 agencies. We've had 2 free sight-in days every year for as long as I can remember. This is a great way for the public who is not members to come out and experience the range and hopefully become members. There was an estimated that over 300 shooters used the range during these days. Daily use, during 2025, there was 584 daily use fees paid. This does not include tournament participants, hunter safety, junior rifle, memberships, 4-H, leagues, or other private events. Our efficiency goals, we have a set of bylaws that's ready for approval. We're trying to get that done. Our big one is increased revenues, and to do that, we need to increase memberships, currently at 104. To increase the membership benefits is to improve range accessibility, increase range usage via improved range access. We're going to be having some meetings coming up ourselves to present something to City Council that will hopefully make this more available to the public. Something maybe like a range gate system or a lock system or something to where with our limited staff, we have a part-time staff, they wouldn't only have to be there. We could have office hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the range could be open to the public. Casper and Laramie and Cheyenne, most of their ranges are open from daylight to dusk, 7 days a week, and they just have office hours. So we could, the biggest question we've had asked is improved access. A lot of people say they'd pay double the fees to have access. So we're going to present something to you in upcoming future. We want to add additional events. We want to develop a league for women shooting. We need to improve range maintenance. There are some things through all the turnover we've had in the last couple of years, and we basically kind of had to start over and explain where we were at so we could get going again. And some things have fell behind. So the range both ranges, indoor and outdoor, need some maintenance. We've tried to develop a high school skeet team, and we'll continue doing that. We have tried to acquire additional staff to keep the range open more hours as we are right now. We have a master plan that was developed in 2006. The advisory board partially updated that plan in 2024 when Jason was here, but we kind of lost traction and need to start back over on that. Focus is on safety and future range improvements. The finalized master plan will be brought to City Council when we get that revised and adopted. The updated master plan will be essential to receiving grants and funding for future improvements. As far as our board participation, we had 203 hours in meetings, 124 in workshops, 216 in hand-on range improvement and maintenance, 34 in community events, education and attending RSO, including RSO, 93 hours, and event assistance, 267 hours. We want to thank you for your support. Do you have any questions?
So that total of hours that we put in is equivalent to half an employee for a year, roughly. Just to kind of put it in perspective.
Well, I have my thank you cards for you guys. Thank you guys for all that you do. And Jim taught my hunter safety.
Your kids can be taught by
They
you.
used to have it in our middle school regularly every year, so that was a nice thing that we did during PE class. Did you have it?
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
thank you
have
guys.
a question though.
Yes.
On the access with the gate.
Yes.
If you guys were able to, if you were able to do something like that, have you guys gone through the numbers, what it would save you if we didn't have somebody out there 24/7, not 24/7, but out there the whole time? Because my understanding is they're out there to kind of keep track of who's there, sell some stuff here and there. But other than that, having that access, you would be able to track the same thing because it would be like a key fob system of some kind, I imagine. Would that offset the cost, not having to have somebody out there so much for that gate? Have you guys ran numbers on that?
We have talked. We haven't got anything solid yet. We've came up with a lot of ideas, and we're going to have some work sessions starting soon. First Wednesday of March, I believe, is when we're going to run every Wednesday of March with some work sessions to try to get something that we can present to you.
Okay.
Maybe get some advice or help or direction with. But we believe, as much as where you're going with that, the offset of the employees is, we would definitely, we believe we would more than double our range membership.
Which would be huge.
Which would be huge.
Okay.
Councilwoman
Awesome.
Lumen.
Thank you.
And the thought of having people out there without somebody else, how many cameras are there? Would that be something
That
you'd
would
have
be
to add?
something that we, as part
Yes.
of the gate system, would have to be cameras.
Have to be cameras
There would be
and,
significant numbers of cameras around. And ultimately, we would like to have a sophisticated keypad opener that would, each individual member would have its own number. Those
So you
are
know
more
who's
expensive,
in.
of course, but
yeah.
that'd be the goal, so that we would know who is out there and when at any given time.
And
That would be
obviously,
awesome.
obviously, the intent for a membership to have these benefits is they would have to be a yearly member. It wouldn't just be it wouldn't be daily use fees. It wouldn't be maybe a 3-month. We want to start with the most honorable people to be out there to trust with our equipment.
I think that's a great idea. Look forward to.
And winters like this are
presentation.
kind of odd.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we could have been shooting since November out there,
Yep.
where it closed November 1st.
Yeah.
Currently, if you want to shoot a rifle, you're done at the end of October. You can't shoot your rifle indoors. You have to wait until May. It's like this kind of year, you could be out there shooting a rifle all winter long.
So is your closure, is that based, it's obviously not based on weather.
No, it's
so-
based on the one staff member we have.
Okay.
So we close
And then open the
October 31st, open the indoor range November 1st. That staff member transfers to the indoor range till the end of April. Then on May 1st, that one staff member
With this
transfers.
system, it could be open year-round,
It very well could be.
minus snow drifts.
Yes. Yes.
There would be
A lot of people out here in the snowdrifts too.
Yeah.
weather permitting.
Weather
Yes.
permitting, there you go.
Councilmember
There's-
Elliott.
By not having an employee out there, would there be any safety concerns? I ask this because one of my friends purchased a 9mm and started reloading bullets. And he went out by himself out south. He shot the gun, it blew up. So is there a possibility if an individual went out there by themselves to either test fire or sight in a rifle or a pistol, that there could be a tragic accident that happens and there'd be nobody on the premises to help?
Well, it's hard to answer that. I mean, we haven't developed anything yet, and obviously we would have a waiver that would need to be signed for coverage of things like that. Obviously, you never want to get there, but a few years ago at the downtown event, we talked to previous Mayor Wycombe, and he suggested a course that everybody that could get this kind of access would have to attend, and we have talked about that kind of a course. So those are things we are talking about. Like I said, we're not comfortable with presenting anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would assume there would have to be the city waiver to allow something like this to happen, and then as that comes up, we'll cross that bridge of if it's a doable thing, or in lieu of more staff, which I know is hard to come by right now. That is our best alternative if we can make it happen.
Exciting.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Moving down to city manager and staff reports. I'll pass it over to you, city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. So just a few things. Last week, the Joint Appropriations Committee met for the state, and we pay attention to that to see about a lot of our revenue streams. And towards the end, the Consensus Revenue Estimating Group gave their presentation. So just a quick summary on that. The January 26 Craig update reflected a minor downturn in adjustments to state revenues. This is driven primarily by low gas price assumptions, primarily due to, at least in the West, mild winter, strong national supply, and lower short-term growth in energy consumption. Certainly not any economic decline. At the state level, their overall finances remain stable. They had strong reserves due to a slight increase in their investment return, and this even factored in the natural gas hit. But there's certainly no indication of any immediate budget stress at the state level. How this kind of translates a little bit down with us, obviously the mineral extraction numbers are always volatile. They kind of have a say-so on what we get. But the local government revenue streams remain largely unchanged, and the sales and use taxes are holding steady. And the only thing on the horizon for us in regards to funding for local governments, it would be what they decide to do with the direct distribution amount, which is something that they work on each budget session. There's a bill to try and reconfigure things, and so we're, finance director and I, am paying close attention to that to see how that's going to impact things. And we'll know that at the end of the legislative session. I think during the course of the update with the golf course update, I'd just like to verify for their sake and everyone else's that's unaware that's an avid golfer is that the Sinclair course did close down, and I think they have plans with what they want to do with that portion of land. But they did invite myself and some of the golf course maintenance folks to go out there and take a look at things and see what we might be interested in. Well, tomorrow they're inviting us back out there at 9 in the morning, and I'm taking our superintendent, Abe, and probably Ken, maybe a few others, and we're going to see just what equipment they're going to make available to us. I know that some of them we didn't get in our asks, but I think we'll be pretty grateful for what we get. I hope that'll enhance a little bit of what our golf course maintenance is on our course without also nothing we had to go purchase too. But again, thanks to Sinclair for that donation. The officer Halacey was mentioned earlier, but Halacey, thank you, Panita. He had successfully finished his training with the drug recognition experts field. A drug recognition expert, also known as a drug recognition evaluator, is a police officer who is trained to identify impairment in drivers who are under the influence of drugs, either in addition or instead of alcohol. This now provides the City of Rawlins with 3 individuals who are certified as DREs. And I can tell you that they also get pulled out and work with other agencies within the county and even the state with troopers at times, given their specialties. We have tomorrow, as a lot of you know, again, we have our joint water meeting with the town of Sinclair, and that'll be tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at the Sinclair Town Hall. So they are having dinner. So for all of you that are going to make the trip over there, they're going to take care of us. We're going to have a special event Monday, January 26th, the Escape Room Heist. This is located at 405 West Cedar Street, Suite B, 4th Street, and the closure is going to be from 4th Street to the alley, and will be closed starting 4:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I think they're going to have food trucks out there, and so they're kind of going to make a show. Not a huge escape room fan myself, but I think it's pretty interesting. I think they've already had a few things to kick that off. Lastly, and Pam, you can help me out with anything that I miss on this one, but they last Saturday marked the Rawlins Winter Games. And of course, the planned activities were sled racing, snowman contest, cornhole, and chili cook-off, among others. But they decided to move that to our rec center, so thanks for the rec center staff for helping out. And they were able to have the cornhole, a chili cook-off, Myra, I think, a dodgeball. What else?
It was like 6 events.
Yeah. So showed the good way for the city to adapt to our at least lighter winter this year. With the rest of my time, I'm going to yield it to two of our department heads. First, I'm going to invite Laura Malone, our finance director, to come up and give her presentation on our finances. And Cody is on deck.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. I want to take the opportunity now that we have gotten past the city's fiscal year 2025 audit to kind of update you on where we are for 2026 now. So I wanted to get past a few things first. One is I wanted to give a general state of the city. Right now that is holding pretty steady compared to last year. Our general fund currently maintains a balance of $1,070,000. For reference, last fiscal year, we had $1.9 million at the end of the fiscal year. So we're right on pace to about match that or maybe outpace it. The enterprise funds holds a balance of $2,813,000 right now. At the end of last fiscal year, we were at $2.6 million. That one is a little bit harder to gauge in the year because we have far more expenses in that account that up and down all the time. But I do feel like we are definitely on track to at least meet last year's. Also, in the process of all of this, I'm now in the budget process for fiscal year 2027, which sounds really weird. Budget worksheets were sent out to our department heads and meetings were set with all of them so that we will get that process started as well. And the last boring thing in my update here is, of course, I'm also working on our fiscal policy and procedure manual. That came about partially as a result of the audit that you all heard about 2 weeks ago. And that was one of the, I don't want to say requests of the auditor, but definitely something that he feels like we need in order to move forward and prevent any of our findings from happening again. On a more exciting note, at least for me, on December 24th, I began investing the city's money according to the July 2025 investment policy that was all approved by council. At that time, I have identified approximately $20 million that was sitting in the random bank accounts for any period of time from 6 months on up to about 5 years. While all this money is definitely usable and is appropriated for spending at this time, many of our projects are long-term projects, so those funds can be built up over the periods of time that they sit in those bank accounts. Currently, bank accounts are receiving an interest rate of 0.45%. So, with that in mind, any money that was expected to be spent within 6 months was put into some short-term options with our local depositories. Anything that was going to be longer than 1 year to expend, I invested with our WIO class. WIO class is an investment option approved by the state, also approved by this council last July. The funds there average a 3 to 4% return, so that's considerably higher than what we were getting with our local depositories. Short-term investments comprise of about $4 million as a 3-month reserve in our general fund. Additionally, it also includes our impact assistance funds of $1.5 million and $2.5 million of specific purposes. Both of those are identified as the Edinburgh project. So the total of $8.1 million is estimated to return about $119,000 at the end of the 6-month time frame that they were invested for. Long-term investments comprise of funds that are going to go beyond all of that. Specific purposes that are not the Edinburgh project are insurance investment account, and funds that are still currently building towards their earmarks but don't have a high enough balance yet to pay those earmarks. $9.6 million was invested there. The return on those as of January 13th, so 3 weeks since I started investing, the return was $17,845. With that, I expect that over the course of a year, we can gain about $1 million. For comparison's sake, last year's, for fiscal year 2025, our total investment income was $694,477. So that $1 million would represent a 44% increase in our investment income. And that is what I have for you today.
We love good news.
Helps offset what he said.
The yin and the yang.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. It's good to hear we got more money because we got more projects. Always
have a project.
I just want to come tonight to give you guys a few updates on local projects. First of all, we're going to go through just a quick update on the Edinburgh project. The start had a few hurdles that we had to overcome. One of the first hurdles was our Come and Go property is part of the state's tank storage program, which has what are called SVE wells, basically monitoring wells for the underground storage tanks. So doing some of the connections right off the bat were not possible due to the fact that we needed to get with Tri-Hydro and the Wyoming DEQ, which is just their program, to see what kind of measures we needed to take to dig through this ground. That has been that problem has been resolved, and we are moving forward with the process. As soon as we drop back to do the water connections, we will open up the whole intersections and do our sanitary sewer connection and our water connection at the same time. So we got that hurdle figured out, and also a part of the start of this project. In our first digs, we found out that our existing water line was shifted up approximately 18 inches further to the west than we thought it was. So fitting in the new lines, we had to do a little bit of engineering and realign the sanitary sewer and the storm sewer to get it within the same boundaries and be able to dig it and put everything in. We got that resolved. That was pretty easy, and then we started looking out into the future down the project to see if we were going to have any other issues. As of right now, we're not finding any. So the start of the project kind of started slow, but we're seeing production pick up. The people are moving pretty slow. We're going to do some inspections tomorrow on the sanitary sewer line. And we are looking at possibly a change order on this end of the street due to soil compactions. The native soil around the project we're getting inspections at about 75% compaction rate, which is very poor, but within the trenches and the new compactions are 95. So we're getting soft soils on the outside of the project and really hard soils in the middle. So we're looking at maybe some kind of a fiber to put over the top of that to remediate that issue. But the engineers are looking into the best practice to resolve that problem. Other than that, the project is moving forward quite well.
They've had a good winter.
Yeah, they're having it. Other than the W word around here, yeah. It's going pretty good. The next little update I'll give you is for our water break that we had last Saturday. Just kind of go over what we experienced out in the field. Approximately, I don't know about what time at night we started getting alarms at the treatment plant for losing water levels at Hospital Tank and Painted Hills. But we started seeing a water loss of some kind. Water treatment staff went out immediately, started working with the system to stop any kind of water flows from the plant to that side of town. Started looking for any kind of water breaks to the system, starting up at the tanks and working down to the system. Due to being the fact in the middle of the night, we weren't able to find the break till first thing in the morning. It's on the high pressure line where we had a break about a year ago, a little bit further down. We proceeded to get all of our one calls in and call in staff. We had a five-man crew out there. After getting the one calls in, we started digging about noon on Saturday. At about 1:30, we started turning water back on, and staff watched the water system for the rest of the night and into the morning. We started getting good flows back at about noon the next day after purging the line and all the air out of it. We ended up removing and replacing 60 feet of DR18 20-inch water line. It's a PVC. Sorry, going through this. So we did a quick estimate on this project costs. We figured that between equipment, labor, and material costs, we were into this project as a city about $21,000 for this. But I just want to thank all of our crew that stepped in for removing and replacing 60 feet of 20-inch line to get it done in that period of time is pretty impressive. So we had a very good staff and crew out there. I had a very good time with my staff. So just want to thank them very much. And on the last note, we had our annual DEQ inspection with the landfill. Last week, we had our inspector come through and do a walkthrough with our superintendent, Willie Trimble. He was very impressed with our landfill, thought everything looked good. We were moving forward. He knows we've had some issues that we've been dealing with, and he thought that we did a great job working through them and that everything is looking fantastic out there. And that is the rest of what I have. Any questions?
Councilmember Elliott.
With these water line breaks, how proactive is the city at repairing the lines before they break?
Well, we do have slated a high pressure water line project. Now, with the other projects that we have, it is a couple projects down. We're very, very much focused on our transmission, cathodic protection, and spring boxes at this time, but that is right in the top 5 projects that we do have. When we get closer to pushing some of these projects out, then we're going to be looking at that right away, and then we'll get together. We'll have a workshop with the council about that project. I'll bring in the engineering firm that we have, Sunrise Engineering, working on that project, and we'll do a quick workshop with CJ, our engineer, on that project. And then we'll start moving that project forward very soon, hopefully.
Councilwoman Lemon.
How many city employees were working on this break?
Oh, it was 6 people.
Okay, thank you.
And I also just want to comment that the public did a great job at
Conserving
yes. water during that time. So
yes. Yeah, they did a very, very good job. We dropped probably about a foot in each tank in the process of this remove and replacement. So they did a fantastic job helping us out.
Great. All right.
Could you sorry.
Go ahead.
Could you see on your system, SCADA system, could you see the rate difference from when the request went out? Did you see it flatline kind of, the depletion from the tank?
Yes. Yeah, there's a noticeable, the line started dropping off and you can actually watch it lose water.
That's
So
cool.
it was pretty impressive. Having this new SCADA system online, it was a huge help. And our treatment staff, other than having to work for over 24 hours, they had a really long night. They were really impressed with how our SCADA system picked up the alarms that went out. So I think in that aspect, it's working great.
Awesome.
How long? None? Are you
Not
out?
very much. Not very much.
Okay. We need to take a 5-minute recess. We'll reconvene at 8:25. Yep, I understand. It's very important.
Almost made it. Proactive means money. You gotta have money for 6 people. 5 foot high? 6 feet. It'd be overtime, it'd be supplies, labor, and the There has been improvements. When we increased that, one of the reasons we lost pressure is because we don't have the place where we visited that cleans the water. Did you go to that? So that wasn't working. That's one of the reasons we ran out of water for the residents. So we had to get enough money to get that to work. And now it is working. So that means, like last year, we didn't have to have any water restrictions. Because we got water from the river, we can clean it up and use it for drinking water. That's a major thing. The entire line, from way out there, way out Wander to here, has to be replaced. There is progress. They did a lot of the pipes, because there's 2 sections up there, and they replaced a whole section of it.
But since that replacement, we haven't heard any other.
But then you have, so you may not have them working in the field, but you do have the engineering going on. They have to wait for the engineering to be done, and then they can do the work in the field. And the funding. You've got to have the funding to get that portion done. One of the main reasons they had to increase the rates was because when you ask for a grant from the government, they expect a certain percentage of your people to pay. Right? And our people weren't even close to that percentage. So it had to be increased around. Otherwise, we wouldn't get a grant.
So the grant, we haven't done that. Like those that were
It depends on the grant. Some grants are equal grants. Bylaws, okay. That makes more sense to me. I appreciate that.
Well, you should feel better soon.
I'm starting to get a little bit ahead. I asked him, what's the difference? 2,000 pounds.
That makes more sense.
Still getting the same rate. I can tell by listening.
Yeah, I can
So you get lower loading, you get less. You get less sauce. But yeah.
It's probably like squeezing a tube, and you're getting less like out of the tube at the end.
Anything, you got so much pressure on your hand, the less pressure you get, the less volume.
That's true.
You got movement.
Yep. Okay.
So that's kind of like when they lay back stickers and then they start coming through. Anytime you run pressure, high pressure to walk this, come out. It's cold. That's
Yeah.
This gets so cold sometimes. Here we go. Yeah, it gets ice on it.
We'll go ahead and get restarted here.
And
I will pass it on to.
I have problems. Absolutely. All right, that makes more sense.
We'll skip down to city council updates, and we can come back to our city attorney updates. Any updates? No? Councilwoman Lumen.
First, I'd like to thank the city workers who put our Mayor Wells picture up on the wall of mayors and made room for the future mayors. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Another thing, what in the meetings have you heard in regards to the property tax, is that still on the table that you know of?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Lumen. Yeah, so the Revenue Committee meeting, they've got about 8 to 11, I think, bills. And they all impact property tax and tax structure in some various ways. So that's something that the association's watching closely and we'll take a look at. And then, of course, the ballot, the constitutional, the ballot measure to cut everything to 50% that'll be on the November ballot too for 2026. So
the one with no property tax, that one's not still floating, or is it?
Madam Mayor, I don't really know. I think they kind of shoveled that one off to the side, but there's still plenty of damage if you look at it that way for sure that the legislatures might kind of do to make further cuts of property tax. So
all right, thank you.
We'll definitely. I'll have probably a report and probably something we'll get even at the association meeting in February, which a lot of us are going to go to.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of meetings on some of those topics. That's
and
a
we'll
good
know
thing.
within the first week and a half how many of those get introduced, and then that'll be some indication on how many might even get through or voted on.
Okay.
So we'll find out pretty quickly.
We appreciate that. The other thing is the landfill. I know in our account for that, it seemed like it was gaining in money. I know in the past we talked about doors. I don't know if we're past doors, but maybe looking into replacing that building altogether to make it so much easier, because I think part of the problem we have is you have people driving in to dump trash at the same area that you have people taking that trash out, rather than a more streamlined where everybody comes in, dumps it here, and then on the other side they're taking it out. Just if we could start maybe the preliminaries, if the council doesn't have any disagreements about it, to see cost or how we can change that to make that so much better for the citizens, because I'd hate somebody to run into the building, we've had that before, or run into each other, or run into a big piece of equipment. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
To piggyback off that, the doors would be a huge plus for the bird waste.
Absolutely.
And then the bird issue, just in general. Pretty much, I imagine it will get rid of them because they won't have the 24/7 access. You don't see them in there when you're working. You see them in there the second you step away from that building. They flock in there.
Although that might cause skinny cats.
Well,
Those are big birds.
I did have one more. When we were talking about the franchises today or this evening, Charter Communications was brought up, and their term limit expired in 2023. Is that my understanding? What does that mean specifically? Are they out of compliance right now with us as far as agreements, or?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. Vice Mayor Gardner, what that means, because of the type of agreement it is, if you think of akin to maybe like a lease agreement, where somebody, like their lease is over, but they're on a holdover, and so they still continue paying. So this isn't something where they can just easily like pull all their infrastructure out of the ground and move out. So this is what creates this holdover type of status. And where we are in communications, as Mr. Grogan detailed, is we have been in contact with Charter. What we wanted to do was get these other new entrees taken care of, and then we'll resume communication with Charter.
Okay, so there's no loss or anything?
No, and actually, interestingly also, Lumen, the CenturyLink. So CenturyLink actually goes all the way back to the 50s with Mountain Bell, and then as that turned into all these, were acquired, it's all that same company. Their franchise agreement actually expired in 2007. So they've been on this holdover status since then, And with the changes in the law from the federal level all the way down, plus the new players, we have to have a similar playing field for the for like with like, so apples and apples. So Visionary and Lumen are the apples that we're talking about here. So we started our negotiations with CenturyLink Lumen, and just because of the size of Lumen, they're a massive corporation. They've, as Mr. Grogan detailed, it just takes a lot more levels of their company to get those final approvals. There's a whole other layer of their regulatory and their all this and that. But we are in the final stages. It's really just, let's get your signature and your final okay blessing on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll hand it back over to you, City Attorney, for your report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. I don't have a lot of unique things to report other than the franchise agreements have been the culmination of 8 to 9 months of very intense work. A lot of these, the original agreements on these are like 20, 30 some pages. We cut out a lot of slack. We work together with everybody, and it just takes a lot of time. This does provide a benefit in the end for citizens to have some options, but we are going to have some pains as they insert the infrastructure through the right-of-way process. I am working closely with Public Works to make sure we have some kind of comprehensive application for these private companies who are working in our right-of-way. We're going to make sure we're protected in the long run, both through oversight, and we know who's there, we know where everything is. Also, we are vastly aware that we have a delicate infrastructure within our right-of-ways, our water, our sewer system, our streets. This is potholes, this is all these sorts of things. So we are considering this comprehensively, what the impact is going to be, whether they open up trenches, whether they do directional drilling. There's going to be somewhere that they have to get into the space. So there's all those little considerations of street cuts and how all of those things are managed, as well as construction bonds. What if they, as the Public Works Director detailed, infrastructure can shift. And this is also something that we need to be aware of as these new players go into our right-of-way. So we're taking a very, very close look at that. And as part of that, we do not currently have a fee schedule regarding right-of-way permits. And that is something that we will be bringing to council to make sure that we are look out for the long run for the best of our community. Also working very closely with Public Works on the Sage Creek Rehabilitation Project. Some big projects that we hope to be presenting to council soon that will be going out to bid hopefully in the near future. And these are all really exciting things that are going to make things a lot better for all of us. Does anybody have any questions on any of these projects that we've, or items that were on the agenda today, or anything else?
Councilmember Elliott.
I could be wrong, but maybe Vice Mayor Gardner was asking if we've lost any revenue since those have expired.
Madam Mayor, Councilor Elliott, yes, just by the nature of what those types of franchises are, cable and hardline telephones, right? They are a dying type of service that people have in their homes. Primarily, hardline telephones are in businesses anymore. Cable, not something very frequently people have. A lot of people use streaming services. As was detailed in the presentation, we cannot charge a franchise fee on internet, which is this broadband, this fiber. So just by the nature of their decline in use, the prevalence of cell phones, and all those sorts of things, we have lost a considerable amount of revenue, which is where those right-of-way permitting agreements, permits, and our oversight into our delicate infrastructures is an attempt to mitigate those damages and those losses. I hope that answered your question.
Councilmember Singer.
So Are they coming in the back door on that, coming in on the phone line and not paying so that they can get to the infrastructure at the least amount of cost? It kind of appears that way.
That's their ticket in to the right of way.
Any further? Okay. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move down to executive session. Councilwoman Lumen.
Move to enter into executive session at 8:35 p.m. per Wyoming Statute 16-4-405A 9, 2, and 3. To consider or receive any information classified as confidential by law, to consider the appointment, employment, right to practice, or dismissal of a public officer, professional person, or employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against an employee, professional person, or officer, unless the employee, professional person, or officer requests a public hearing. The governing body may exclude from any public or private hearing during the examination of a witness any or all other witnesses in the matter being investigated. Following the hearing or executive session, the governing body may deliberate on its decision in executive session on matters concerning litigation to which the governing body is a party, or proposed litigation to which the governing body may be a party.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to enter into executive session. I forgot what time you said, 8:35 p.m. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open.
I'm goofing around over here, Lynn. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get into the screen again.
Would you like to do a verbal?
Yes, it would be yay.
Thank you. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Not today, at least.
We didn't know that.
They
did the CBT. Part of the CBT trail on Sunday.
I just,
How are you?
I got that. Those are
I knew you'd say no. That's good. Usually it's like 65. Make sure I didn't know how much. I could talk about upstairs. And I can pull up his. No, this is Joshua. She was awesome. She got me everything already that I need for the grant.
Well, and the budget is on there.
I know.
Okay.
But don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I can do that.
I got so caught up trying to find the audience.
Give me everything I need for the grant. I love it. Oh, my. But, oh,
Yeah. Apparently, according to that, you two, you did excellent.
That was it.
Yes. We're still live with sound.
Nice presentation.
As always.
Both of you.
Well, thanks, sir.
Thanks for your I do not. I should have a piece in my house. I have some nuts.
Nuts? Get on it.
We need a pizza oven. Or Cody.
Or a hot dog. Because someone wouldn't approve it.
But then I did.
But then he did.
Hey, so did you, and so did Ben.
I know.
So I got it.
It was Ben first, then I'm like, what the heck?
No, I didn't. Somebody told me that maybe I should. I was like a hard no.
Well, yeah, I would. No, you were both like.
I want one. You would ask for your office.
Yeah, I'd say no. I know.
so.
Thank you.
refrigerator.
Oh.
Come join us, Daryl.
At the beginning of that meeting, I think, oh, man.
Oh. Well,
Well,
in Lynn's defense, she was like, let's put off or she offered to put off one of the reports, and I was like, no, we're powering through these.
One or two of them I offered to.
It's only 9 o'clock.
Well, and you never know how long Yvonne's going to talk.
Yep.
Thank
So-
God for starting at 6.
And then our work session starts in 5 minutes.
There's no work session.
Terry.
Don't say that again, Daryl.
And it's about all of the water system.
No.
Cody's like, what?
It's the first discussion on the budget.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first one's always the best one,
Why are
too.
you guys always picking on me?
I'm going to start my car. Me too. I'm starting my car. I got 15 on mine.
I'm just gonna put this inside the truck for 5 minutes. It'll be nice and warm. Hopefully I don't break it.
It's so cold out there. I want my car warm.
That's what I was going to go down to. Next to this one back here. This one.
Sometimes you burn back here too. When they have the heaters going on, you're like,
Yeah.
They should do that soon.
Yeah, this corner right back here. This corner back here is hotter now. It's cool. Yeah, try to keep the whole room hot. This back corner back here just seems like it's hot.
yeah.
Getting used to it. Oh, that's what I'm trying to do. We try to hit. Because then you're not changing. Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
Just gotta have
I'm
the right
sorry.
conversation, right mindset with the right people.
Woke up early and went for a long run, and now I'm at bedtime.
Went for one day, it was either Saturday, no, because I usually do Sunday, Monday. I came home, Jim goes, you okay? I was like, no, I can take a nap.
After your walk? Yeah. I know.
I just had like,
Yeah, usually after I'm like,
it must have been, it had to been Sunday.
yeah. So, I've been working on puzzles in front of the TV, you know, I'm like, and I went for my run on Sunday, which is my long run day, and I did 15 miles. So I was there for 2.5 hours. And then when I got home, I was like, my neck hurts so bad. And I was like, I wonder if it's from running. And Garrett's like, no, it's not. I was like, oh, I ran 15 miles. He's like, it's from you doing your puzzles. So I have a puzzle-related injury. Yeah.
My dad does too, because we got on some puzzles.
Yep. Yeah, my puzzle-related injury.
That's what I told them out there on our trip out north the other Sunday. That would be coming from here all the way up to Atlantic City. I'm going to a 2-day walk. Well, oh, maybe just a couple miles out then.
Do you know that lady on Sunday who was running?
Who was running?
Yeah, with you. She started after you.
Oh, yeah, that's my soon-to-be sister-in-law. The blonde?
She was trying to catch you?
No, she wasn't there Sunday. She was there Monday.
She was running, I mean, she really was just like going around.
Oh, no, she's, I think she's military. She's way fast.
Yes, she
Yeah.
was. She was, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to tell us you're amateur commander.
Well, I run 15 miles instead of a half a mile, so that in my defense.
Yeah, she didn't last for
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she can run fast for a half a mile. Okay. What? Oh, yes. Awesome, thank you. All right, so do I have a motion to come out of executive session? Councilmember Patterson.
Move to come out of executive session per Wyoming statute 16-4-405A4, 2 and 3, 9, 2 and 3 at 9:12 p.m.
Second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded, come out of executive session at 9:12 p.m. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 abstain. The 1 abstain was Vice Mayor Garner.
All right, do you have a motion to approve the executive session minutes, Vice Mayor Garner?
Move to approve the executive session minutes of January 6, 2026, regular city council meeting as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the executive session minutes of January 6, 2026, regular city council meeting as presented. Any discussion? Then will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Thank you. Do I have another motion?
You have the resolution.
Do you want me to, we have to vote on the resolution, right?
You have to do the resolution first.
Yeah, we have to vote, you have to make a motion, right?
I don't
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. I guess I can do that.
Yeah, it's right there.
I make a motion to approve the resolution of the governing body of the city of Rawlins, Wyoming, appointing Matthew J. Hall as city manager and authorizing execution of an employment agreement.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Lynn, will you do a voice vote on that one?
Madam Mayor Wells,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Garner,
Yay.
Councilmember Sanger,
Yay.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yay.
Councilmember Seelow,
Yay.
Councilmember Lehman,
Yay.
Councilmember Elliott.
Yay.
All right.
Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
And
Now I can go.
now you can go.
I move to authorize the mayor to accept and sign the city manager employment contract and set the start date of February 1st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded for the mayor to do that. I can't think. Any discussion? Lynn, when you're ready, can you do a voice vote?
Madam Mayor Wells,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Garner,
Yay.
Councilmember Sanger,
Yay.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yay.
Councilmember Seelow,
Yay.
Councilmember Lehman,
Yay.
Councilmember Elliott.
Yay.
Motion carries with 7 yeas.
Yeah, put me, please.
Was there any objections for matters discussed in executive session? Okay, seeing there are none, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 9:15 with our next meeting on February 3rd, 2026.
Don't forget Sinclair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Awesome. And then my sign.
Did you start your car? Did you start your car?
No.
It's freezing.
Oh, yeah. The elevator's pretty cold.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.